All right, thank you very much, Emmett. You may or may not know this, but January apparently is divorce month. I didn't know this. More couples file for divorce in early January than at any other time during the year.
Well, that's depressing. But there's a new book out called The Good Karma Divorce, which can help couples avoid litigation and turn negative emotions into positive actions. Joining us this morning, Judge Michele Lowrance.
What a pleasure to see you, Judge. How are you?
Pleasure to be here. Sunny? Oh, not sunny.
Not so
No,
not sunny California.
not so much.
Shot number one.
I had that line all ready to go.
People always say that, the idea of the title of your book is an impossibility. You can't have a good divorce.
I would imagine that that is the first thing they say. Look, when people are going through a divorce, it's one of the most difficult things that's ever going to happen to them. And they look to find sanity in a system and in a model that apparently causes people so much suffering. That's the first thing that happens. So everybody is terrified of the concept of divorce, not just the pain of the breakup and the heart and the loneliness, but the extra, the depositions, the divorcing process is what is so terrifying. The invasion of privacy, seeing your spouse standing across the room, you haven't seen them in 4 months, the surrealism. People don't know how to handle those emotions, and why should they?
You actually have got some tips because you actually, which doesn't really, some people might say you make your bread and butter from divorces, but you're trying to steer people through the process in a less painful way. And you say that people can actually avoid long trials and litigation that's dragged out. Can you give us some of the tips? You say create a manifesto. What do you mean by that?
Well, in the beginning of a divorce, you're bombarded with emotions.
Yeah.
You're like a Cuisinart with the lid off. And they're all reactionary. You're reacting to the fear of what your spouse is going to do. You're reacting to the other lawyer, to the system. You need a way to organize all of this chaos, put your goals down on paper, and most of all, create a blueprint for your children, because they're going to be reactionary too, and they're way too young to be able to tolerate all those conflicting emotions. The manifesto is a written document to keep you on track when goals no longer seem to matter.
That'll only work if both of you are thinking the same way. What happens when one is not thinking that way, and the other, and you know, you're trying to be rational, you're trying to be fair, and the other end of it isn't? Well,
Mark, I don't agree with that. I agree with the part that working together doesn't work if two people don't work together. But this model that is in the book really has to do with how you handle yourself, how you manage your own reactionary, the power that you find from all of the emotions, and not giving up your power because you're terrified of the process. It has nothing to do with what the other person does or doesn't do. Would it be nice for people to do it together? Would it be the ultimate alliance to create, to protect children? Oh, yes, it would. But some people can't find their way to do that. So there has to be a way that people can do it by themselves. Sure, there's parts of this that has to do with both of them. That's civility contract.
I guess if you could work together, you could still be married.
Well,
you know what I mean? If you
point.
could work together on a divorce, you could have worked together on a marriage.
Conventional wisdom, that would be a true statement, but not necessarily. Sometimes you can find a way. Don't you want to work together, or do you want to give up all power and control to me or somebody like me? Once you go to trial, once you give it up to the judge, you no longer have any control over your life. And you're not likely to go along with the agreement. If you make your own concessions, you can live with them better.
Listen, they're pushing us along. It's a very busy news day, but this is a really great book. It might be a little odd to give it to somebody, but it would be a really valuable resource for people that are going through this. Judge Lowrance, thank you so much for coming and even just explaining the tip of the iceberg of this concept to us. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much. What a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.